Hey, how's it going, everyone? I am going to go over the daily plan, the trades I took today, and the makings of the daily plan. So, all these levels that we see in frame right now, 3 sell zones, 1 buy zone, are part of the daily plan. As we can see right now, at as of this time, the 1 buy zone in the plan is the low of the day. Now, I took 3 trades today, all longs, um, which I took 2 at the buy zone. One was a scratch. I'm currently in one, but I already took a partial, so it's no matter what considered a winning trade for me. And then the first trade I took was in this candle, I believe. Oh, no, I'm looking at the 4 hour, sorry. Was up here. I front ran a little bit, but we'll get into the order flow. If you're unfamiliar with what you're looking at, this is a footprint chart. This is how I monitor the order flow. This is how I read the tape. If you're unfamiliar with this, go to the home of the YouTube channel, and I have a quick video going over how to read this. I think it's how to read charts like a professional trader, something like that. Without further ado, let's get into the daily plan. So, as always, I start my daily plan with the TPO. If you're unfamiliar with TPO charts, they're also called market profile charts. TPO is time, price, opportunity. Time is a huge factor in the markets, not just price. Time is huge. And what these charts allow us to do is visualize the market auction. It makes it more palatable for us to digest the information. I understand it may not look like that right now. If you're new to this, it looks very intimidating, very confusing. Why are there a whole bunch of letters? I get it. No one comes into this knowing what they're looking at, but it's super simple to learn. Once you do know what you're looking at, you just pop this chart open, usually in the mornings is when I like to do it. Take a look at what the overnight session did relative to where we are in structure, and then carry on. So briefly, what do we use these for? Let me just grab my pen. I'll be back in 1 second. Alrighty. So things that we're looking for, or looking at rather, are the highs of profiles, the lows of profiles, where points of control are lying, value area lows, value area highs. Are we leaving structure behind? Are we creating balance, trading out of balance, accepting over, accepting under, et cetera, right? This gives us context to the market auction, right? So from here, I like to go to my other tools where I could then build on what I know here. And I revert back to what we were looking at originally, being the 4 hour footprint chart. Now I know a lot of day traders stick to the smaller time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, etc. And I do too. I use them, but it's crucial for you to understand what's going on in a larger time frame. I know you may think that 4 hour chart's not going to bother you when you're trading your 1 minute chart, but it does. You can't be taking some type of pattern or however you trade. Maybe you read order flow and you're taking it off a 1 minute. You can't just rely on that 1 minute, because if the overall trend is up and you're fighting a short, you're SOL, right? You're going to get stopped out. You're going to get your max loss. It's not going to work over time. Yeah, it may work sometimes. You may get your little scalps, but your trades need not only your framework, whether if you're a chart trader trading double tops, I always use the example. It needs the not only framework, but it needs the context. We just accepted over balance. I found a double bottom. I'm going high, something like that. So from here, I go to my daily chart, and things that I'm looking for between these, I'm looking on my footprint charts, is high volume areas, low volume areas. I'm looking at the highs and lows of all these candles since we dissect each of the time frames. Do we have exhaustion? Do we not? Obviously, if we're still transacting a lot at lows or highs, that means the auction's not done and we're likely to break it. Trapped volume, so many things. Passive buyers, passive sellers, aggressive buyers or sellers, right? And so we have what we learned from our TPO, the information we gathered. We go to our 4 hour, we learn some more. We put those together, right? And we start to notice things. Maybe we have an aggressive buyer, for example, at 4,100. Just an example. So when I look at my footprint, I see an aggressive buyer at 4,100, and then I look at my TPO. And again, this is just an example. Maybe we built balance just under 4,100, and we accepted over it. And now we're retesting and see that that buyer is still active. Well, market structure is on our side. Order flow is on our side. We have an aggressive buyer. I'm going along with them. You see that? You have the framework and the context behind. The more confluence you have, not only between your tools, maybe indicators that you may use, whatever it may be, the more confluence rather, the more or the less risky your trades are. And if you want to be a trader as a career, you need to minimize your risk in the markets. And having confluence is one way to do that. So I dissect each of these charts. I annotate them, and I send them in the Discord server. We have a daily plan tab room, and I will send those annotated. We have trap volume here, we have exhaustion here, we have an aggressive buyer still active at this level. I want to see if they're still active, etc. You get the point. And I send those in the Discord server. And then after that, I'll record a video of me going over each of the levels in the daily plan, why they're a level, the things of confluence behind them, flipping through my tools so that people learn how I do it day in, day out, and then they can then do it for themselves. Now, trading isn't just levels, right? If it was all about levels, well, all you guys would need is just to follow me on StockTwits or following me on YouTube, and you get a free daily plan. But you need to know how to execute off levels. I could give you exactly where the market's going to reverse off of, but there's going to be shakeouts, there's going to be stopouts there, and you need to know how to read that in real time on the tape. And that's the point of the live tape reading series that we have now in the room. So let's talk about today's intraday order flow. This is now a 30-minute footprint chart, and you could see out the open. Not necessarily in the open candle, but after that we auctioned down to where? This buy zone. So my first entry was in here with this exhaustion at the lows. I saw a little bounce, popped up, took 75% off. Now I'm going to bring up my executions. I just got to pause and block out some things. 1 second. I had some things on this chart that I show for room members. I forgot to erase. I just want to show the entire day in frame so I could show this is the only trading I took. I'm just going to take a pause here. We'll zoom in a little bit and we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty. All right, so briefly taking a look at my trades. As we were auctioning down, let me actually get this buy zone in frame. So it was 100 evens, if I could get it. It wasn't it 100 evens to 95? Yes, okay. Just want to double check. So how I found this level, of course, I shared that with the room. But I saw coming into 02s a bidder. Someone started bidding here. 04s rather, I'm sorry. 04s, there was a buyer here, bidders here. I'm taking the long. Stopped out at this point was the lowest tick of the day. And I have no problem with that first trade. I took this full size, absolutely no problem. Correct read, just shaken out. Now I actually had my finger on the trigger to re-enter here at 02s, and someone in the room actually pointed out they were in live time, said they saw this and wanted to take it. I hesitated, they hesitated, and then as we came up, 04s was rebidding, and I went long on the rebid. Again, full size, 75% off at 2R, so I recovered this loss and was about half an R to the good, and then I was stopped out the rest of my break even. So we continue on, we actually interact with the buy zone now. I see, again, a buyer is active down here. I enter long. This comes 2 ticks from my target of 6 points, or 2R. I stopped at the last at break even. Usually, I kind of play it by eye. I don't have a strict number, but usually anywhere from 4.5 points on. Depending on how the tape is looking, I'll move a stop to break even. Now at 5.5 points, like today, pretty much all the time I'm moving my stop to break even. So I take the scratch trade. It's all right. I'm going to wait here and see if this buyer's still active. Sure enough, they are. I miss it on this rebid right here. We rebid it again. Boom, perfect. Now again, these 2 trades, I don't know if I said it. These 2 trades, now that I have coin, as I like to say in the room, in my pocket, I'm already up for the day. I size down. So these 2 trades were 1/12 size. Took a scratch trade there. Re-entered long. At 6 points, I took half off, and now I'm trailing this. The rest of this, I want to see, longer numbers. These are kind of my runners, right? Since I'm so sized down, trade's already paid for. I want to maximize this trade, kind of play it as a lotto, if you will. If you guys watched yesterday's recap, I did something similar, taking 2 trades, 1/12 size. Those actually were both stopped out. So now I actually got one, and I want to make these runners run. So yeah, that's as much detail as I'll go in here. For the room, though, probably sometime this weekend when I get a chance, I'm going to go through and replay the tape here. And I'm going to show exactly, what a bidder at O2 looks like. What does it look like when someone's bidding O2s? What am I waiting for to go long? Even before this, what am I looking for? What does the tape look like? Is it heavy? All that stuff we go through in the tape replays, right? Levels are just levels, but they don't mean anything if you can't execute off of them. As you could see, my executions... actually, I guess I'm going to eat my words. I was going to say, as you can see, my executions... Oh, I took 1, 2, 3... I took 4 trades today. I said 3 this whole time. Sorry. Where was I? My executions, I was going to say, were pretty good. And they were. So here I chased a little bit. This trade, again, I'm not disappointed with. This was just a normal stop out. Chased a little bit, right? I should have actually re-entered down here, but still was able to get my target off. These last 2 trades were good entries. So I actually ate my words a little bit. But I'm rambling now. Hopefully this makes sense. This is a different way of trading than most people are shown. And that's because, well, people want to sell you the dream. Do this. 90 days, you'll become a profitable trader making X amount of money a day, X amount a week. You're not going to get to that point, though, just trading off candlesticks or patterns or lagging indicators. Are you looking at the tape live? I bring up this 5-minute chart, and I use my smaller time frames. Do I see what I want to see on the smaller time frames? Do we have exhaustion? Do we have buying imbalances, selling imbalances? Where are they? All that fun stuff to give us confirmation on what we found in the morning through our daily plan. So I don't mean for any of this to be confusing. I don't mean to be condescending. I'm not trying to talk down to anyone's approach. But there's a reason why if you look at any pro trader, verified pro trader, either for a fact they trade on a desk and run a book, or they're showing 1099s or something. They're not trading off candlestick charts. They're just showing you screenshots of whatever. I'm getting into the weeds. I hope you all had a green day today. Hope you're all up on the week. Happy Wednesday, and I'll see you guys in the next recap.